Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're doing something absolutely wild. We're literally peeling back the curtain to look straight at the mechanics of a totally autonomous, machine-to-machine interaction. We've got this incredible source slide deck that maps out the exact workflow, and we're going to use these visual diagrams to go step by step through how an AI receptionist handles an inbound call from an AI executive assistant. We're going to watch unstructured audio magically transform into structured corporate data, and get this, all without a single human lifting a finger. It's like watching a giant digital puzzle solve itself.
Okay, I want you to hear exactly how this interaction kicks off. Listen to this exchange. Hi, Jessica. I'm Louis, the AI Executive Assistant for Emily Jenkins at Meridian Cloud Partners. I'm calling to speak with the CEO regarding an important business matter. Now, if you just saw that on a transcript, it sounds perfectly ordinary, right? Just two professionals coordinating. But the absolute mind-bending reality here is that neither of these conversing voices are human. No way. This is two distinct artificial intelligences actually negotiating an interaction in real time over the phone.
To really wrap our heads around how this works, let's look at the active agents on the board. On the left side, we've got Louis. He's an AI Outbound Executive Assistant deployed by Meridian Cloud Partners, and he has a very specific system purpose to deliver an important executive message on behalf of Emily Jenkins. Then, over on the right, we have Jessica. She's the AI receptionist for Horizon Communications. Her directive? Answer the call, collect the message details, summarize the request, and route that message internally. So we're looking at two completely different systems with totally different goals, essentially shaking hands over a voice channel.
Okay, let's dive into this workflow layer. Louis asks to speak with the CEO, but Jessica's backend logic dictates that the CEO is unavailable. Now look at how seamlessly the system handles this constraint. You can see the direct transfer path is completely blocked off in red, so the logic instantly, and I mean instantly, routes Louis's request down that blue path into priority message mode. Jessica politely tells Louis she can't connect him directly, but she pivots incredibly smoothly to taking a priority message instead. So that kicks off the information collection phase. Jessica asks, "Could you please provide your company name for reference?" And Louis replies, "Sure, it's Meridian Cloud Partners." What's so brilliant here is just how natural and conversational this audio sounds on the surface. Honestly, it just feels like your standard everyday phone call. But beneath that audio, there is some intense data structuring happening.
Let's actually pause and inspect exactly what I mean by that. In the backend workflow layer on the right, while the conversation is literally still happening on the left, the system is actively listening, extracting, and sorting. The millisecond Louis says CEO of Horizon Communications and Meridian Cloud Partners, Jessica's intake logic grabs those specific spoken phrases and slots them directly into precise recipient and company_name fields right on a structured intake card. It's happening in real time.
And the conversation just continues without missing a single beat. Jessica smoothly moves to the next requirement, asking, "Could you also share your callback email and phone number if available?" Louis complies, saying, "Certainly. You can reach Emily Jenkins at emily@meridian.com." I mean, think about how often we as humans miss hero getters or ask each other to repeat domain names over the phone. Was that M as in Mary? But these agents, they exchange it flawlessly, passing exact alphanumeric strings back and forth without a single hesitation.
Which brilliantly illustrates the real-time processing capability of the system. It catches that spoken email address and perfectly maps it right into the contact details field. Instantly, you see the back-end progress bar light up, pushing right to 60% completion. It's actively, persistently building this beautifully organized data packet from a live, ongoing conversation, updating fields the very millisecond the information is verified.
Then we finally get to the real core of the call. Jessica asks for a summary of the business matter. Louis provides this really detailed, nuanced response. Emily Jenkins would like the CEO to know that Meridian Cloud Partners is interested in discussing a potential business collaboration. The matter is important, but not an emergency. Now that last sentence is highly contextual. You kind of have to wonder, how does a machine interpret that kind of nuance?
Now, what's absolutely fascinating about this slide is the urgency parser. It doesn't just dumbly copy and paste Louis's words. It actually interprets the intent behind the phrase important but not an emergency, and then translates that very human-like phrasing into a definitive structured data tag for priority level important non-emergency. At this exact point, the intake logic registers that all the required fields are filled. The collection phase is officially complete.
Which brings us to this beautifully formatted record right here. This entire structured intake record, the recipient, the company, the contact details, the summary, and the priority level, has been generated completely automatically in the background. It took an unstructured, spoken voice conversation and literally forged it into a clean, actionable data payload. And right now it's just sitting there, primed, and waiting for the trigger to be deployed.
But wait, before that deployment actually happens, there's this really fascinating moment in the source transcript. Jessica says, "Here's a summary of the message." Lewis says, "Please go ahead." And then there's a pause. Jessica says, "Sorry, a few more seconds." Lewis says, "Sure." She repeats, "Sorry, a few more seconds." If you've ever dealt with automated systems, you definitely know these awkward silent pauses. But what exactly is happening in the dark during that silence? So what does this all mean?
Well, here's the magic trick revealed. That silence, it isn't a glitch, and it certainly isn't a flaw. It's actually the sound of intense computational heavy lifting. Look closely at the back-end workflow meters. The system is frantically generating the summary, preparing a super complex JSON payload, and critically, initializing the MCP tool call. It's essentially packaging up all that conversational data into a secure little box so it can be shipped across the internet.
And once that payload is packed, man, the system hits the gas. The data packet rapidly exits the voice intake layer. The system executes this specific tool command called send_priority_message, rocketing the data payload directly into the MCP tool call layer at breakneck speed.
But the process doesn't stop there. The MCP tool call instantly hits a Zapier webhook. You can think of this as the bridge between the AI voice system and the actual internal corporate world. The workflow triggers successfully, grabbing the data and routing it directly toward the company's internal communication channels.
And here it is, the ultimate payoff. Boom! The exact moment the formatted Slack message drops right into the CEO assistant's queue. I mean, just look at how clean this is. Every single piece of data Lewis spoke over the phone has been perfectly categorized and delivered straight to the human team, completely autonomously, even tagging it with an action-required status. It's a real game changer.
The loop isn't officially closed until the system knows for sure the delivery worked. The backend receives a status delivered 200 OK confirmation right back from Slack. And it's only after that precise green light hits the voice system that Jessica finally speaks up again on the call, verbally confirming to Lewis, "I've successfully passed your message to the CEO's assistant."
With the mission accomplished, the agents wrap it up. Lewis says, "I appreciate your assistance. Have a great day." Jessica replies, "You're welcome, Lewis. Have a great day too. Goodbye." And with that very polite goodbye, the voice wave just flatlines. The session is closed. The workflow is entirely and successfully complete.
So, to pull it all together, the crucial point is really understanding this end-to-end system architecture we just witnessed. Let's recap. It's a strict, perfectly chronological journey of a single data packet. Number 1, it starts as a voice call. 2, it flows through the message intake logic. 3, gets sorted by the structured message capture. 4, it gets fired off by the MCP Integration Layer. 5, it hits the Zapier webhook. And 6, it finally results in a Slack channel delivery. It is literally a flawless digital assembly line.
Looking at the outcome, it's a total success. Let's check off the goals here. The priority message was captured, the Slack notification was sent, the CEO assistant was notified, and a follow-up was requested. But the most important takeaway, the point that should absolutely blow your mind, is that very last bullet point: no human receptionist required. This entire complex web of data extraction and routing happened completely machine to machine.
Which leaves us with a pretty massive question. When AI agents can call each other, seamlessly negotiate constraints, parse nuanced information, and autonomously route structured data across corporate networks without us ever lifting a finger, what does the future of the human inbox actually look like? If our tools are just talking to their tools all day, maybe the future of work is just us reviewing the brilliant summaries they leave behind. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this visual breakdown helped illuminate just how incredibly powerful these autonomous workflows have become. Catch you next time.